Well, Merry Christmas, all. This is a response to Anthony. Check it out, Anthony. You said that if you were to modernize ninjutsu, it would involve hacking, and I agree with you. I do agree with you. We're seeing in recent months the whole aspect of cyber warfare. Um, and here's the thing. I'm going to show you some screenshots. Now, this is just my phone. In fact, let me show you something. It is not just a phone. It is screenshots from this phone. This is the hack phone. And so I have a phone configured for network hacking, wireless hacking. Because quite simply put, as a ninja, quote unquote, take that as a joke if you will, and as one who embraces modern principles of warfare, the fact that I include the use of firearms, modern firearms, AR-15s, AR-10s, M14s, a Remington 700 and 308. I actually have a sniper program that I'm updating. I actually have a small teams warfare and clandestine operations manual that I'm updating. By embracing modern concepts, things like battle drills, for example. I did this in Army of Shadows, by the way. The original's still available on Amazon if anyone gives a shit. The thing about it is, I'm also writing a book on hacking. Now, granted, I'm not a hacker. I'm more of a script kiddie. And I'm learning programming and updating this information and adapting as I go. Here's the thing. For me, it requires a mix of both modern technology, since this is the 21st century, and traditionalism. There are a lot of concepts, principles, even fieldcraft, that the traditional historical shinobis had. And I use the term shinobi to refer to historical ninja as opposed to the blanket ninja term, which was more modernized, as we both know. And so, when you get into it, things like the Dorahi are great primitive technologies. And I even think that even more primitive bushcraft is needed for survival training and such. I'm updating the Shinobi Survival Manual as we speak. But as we approach this whole concept of the 21st century, Ninjutsu has to update. There's some guys from the Bujinkan who did a great article on using traditional ninjutsu psychological warfare taken from the manuals you've translated. Well, the historical ninjutsu team translated, actually, that you published into English. You and Yashie, to kind of show how the idea of psychological manipulation can exploit people for information to hack them and such. I have no problem with that concept, and I'm actually giving these guys from the Bujinkan, I don't remember their names, props for this. We have different systems, and the lineage arguments to me are idiotic, considering that I don't consider anyone who is a modern ninja practitioner to be valid. Okay, so that includes myself. All right, and because of that, I've tried to modernize it. I've been modernizing it for a very long time. The thing about this is that I'm gonna show you some screenshots. These are just from the hack phone. Okay, I have a phone that I can hack your wireless network. Now, granted, it's easier with I can deauthenticate your Wi-Fi security cameras, especially if it's WPA or WPA2, because the deauthentication signal doesn't have to be encrypted, but the WPA3 requires all transmissions to be encrypted, so I got to kind of break the encryption before I can clone your MAC address and send them a deauthentication signal. But I can do that with a freaking cell phone. Alright, now, of course, wired cameras are a lot different, and require some extra steps and infiltration and such to be able to access them. But here's the thing. When you're talking about modern ninjutsu, If you really want to go into the modern ninjutsu guys, the closest thing you're going to get to the modern ninjutsu guys in the real world uh, is ground branch. Or their aquatic cousins, which are all recruited from the Navy SEALs. That is the CIA's Black Ops Special Ops team. These guys go into places with no support, no military support. They're not even supposed to be there. They have no rules of engagement. Um, I've never worked with any of them, never spoken with any of them. I've only heard about them through other sources. But they are trained in human human intelligence. They're trained in signal intelligence. They're trained in intelligence gathering. They're technically kind of spies, even though they are elite military units. And I bring this up because if anyone wants to modernize ninjutsu, they're going to have to look at the modern espionage trade. Not so much for the historical reference, but point of fact. And it's like this. I've trained in 3 different ninjutsu styles, and one of which, I'm not going to bring up any details on who this person is, but one of which was a person who had gone AWOL in Vietnam and ended up working for the CIA. And to train people in South America, kind of a go-around for the School of Americas, which was known in the 90s, but this was going back in the 70s. They were having people under foreign passports trained here in the U.S. And this individual took military intelligence training and just threw Japanese names on it. And, well, honestly, their military intelligence quasi-ninjutsu BS is a lot more accurate to historical ninjutsu. So, mixing it with my modern interpretation of it, and my military training, because bear in mind, the ninjas were all warriors, they were killers, they pretty much basically were like ground branch. I'm not sure what you guys have over there, MI6 or MI5 or whatever. And, well, that is what it is. And so, in that regard, yeah, let me show you something. Okay, this is an Albanian hacking tool. It didn't turn out too well, but again, you can see where these hacking tools begin. This is Metasploit. This is where it was loading. It took a very long time to load all the dependencies and stuff like that. And this allows me to crack networks, passwords. I can do a lot, actually. And you can see where I've pretty much put down the documentation for you. So you have the list of what you have on here. All these things are valuable for hacking. So Anthony, as you can see, and that's just a cell phone. There's things out there like Kali Linux, Arch Black, Predator OS. There's all these Linux tools can be downloaded for any Linux operating system, so it doesn't really matter. But there are systems that are specifically designed to do and give someone the tools to do the very things you're saying that the government only has the power to do, and they really don't. And here's the thing, man. You know, we live in a world where the modern ninja has to gather information. A lot of this information is cyber information, metadata, cybersecurity stuff, things like that. And a lot of the cybersecurity stuff overlaps. So as well as defense as offense. But you got to understand how the defenses work to actually make an effective offense, and it's a massive amount of things to study. Like I said, I'm a script kiddie learning to use the tools. So I'm not really a hacker. And I make that perfectly clear. I'm stating that now for the whole world. But you need to understand, man, you need to look at a lot of what's out there that you don't even know about. I mean, anyone can tap anyone's phone. And here are screenshots of Kali Linux. Alright, now, I'm pointing this out to you, man, because I want you to realize there's so much more information and tools available to people and the modern ninja than just what you think the government has. So in closing, Merry Christmas, man. Thank you for all the wonderful research you've done. You have honestly reshaped the ninja community, and added a lot of information to, well, at least get the people claiming to teach historical ninjutsu teaching historical ninjutsu from your work. Um, it was kind of something I seen was going to happen. They're all going to tell their BS lineages. No one really cares. It's all about the skills, and you've made it freely available, so no one really has to study under anybody, which is why guys like me have to modernize things, um, and use the historical research as, well, something towards historical inspiration. Um, that being said, like I said, Merry Christmas, man. Hopefully, this will open your eyes to the availability of tools in our information age, which, I don't know, man, is both a threat and something that anyone interested in cybersecurity should be looking into, especially if they want to secure themselves. Thanks, man. Merry Christmas.